Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. A very kind, long-time subscriber from the land of fine watchmaking and chocolate asked my opinion about his collection and the way forward. He's put together a great 4-piece combo so far, so I think this review will resonate with many of you. We'll call him Stefan to preserve his anonymity, and he's working in the medical sector, so he might be around some strong magnetic fields at times, and he's got fairly large wrists, more than 19 centimeters, between 19 and 20, which opens up a whole world of possibilities that many of us can't access. My wrists are 17 centimeters, it's not small, but there are still some very popular watches that I find a bit too big for mine. We discussed with Stefan over a couple of emails, which helps me profile the possible collecting path for him. Like many of us, he came from a modest background, but he did get the famous Casio calculator as a kid, the dream. His parents got him a Tissot V8 chrono quartz, which I didn't know much about, but think looks really cool and perfect for a student. I don't actually have the actual picture of it, but it's something like this one, and they got him this watch for university. Great tool. Then he got a Seiko Saab 033. Great first good mechanical watch. I still have mine. Now let's get down to business. When his son was born about 2 years ago with green eyes, he figured getting a Rolex Hulk as a great piece of heirloom that could be engraved in the back would be a good idea. Of course, the visit at the 80s, even there, pretty much close to where they make those watches, didn't turn out so well. So instead of going there, he went for the two brands that actually had caught his imagination: Grand Seiko and Omega. Omega because of the moon watch, and James Bond movies, and Grand Seiko because he remembered fondly a visit to the Grand Seiko boutique in Tokyo, that would be in Ginza, a few years ago. The collection he's put together so far, I really like it. Great balance. He's got the moon watch, the sapphire sandwich, which he says he really hates on the leather but loves on the bracelet. I've never taken my moon watch off the bracelet. To me, that's the way to wear it, but some people love the leather or the NATO straps. Great watch, great size for someone with a large wrist. Then his most worn watch is the Seamaster 300 meter in blue, ceramic, just great. Then he got the SBGR 311 from Grand Seiko, which is perhaps my favorite Grand Seiko. He saw my review of the watch, and that's how he subscribed to me. It was a long time ago. So when Grand Seiko came up with this watch, they wanted to offer something a bit larger, and they redesigned a movement just for the watch, if my memory serves well. It has an amazing mosaic of Grand Seiko logos there, and it wears a bit bigger but has fairly short lugs. Actually wears very easy even on my wrists, and he loves this watch. It's automatic, it's steel. I totally approve of this one. And then he got the Snowflake, more as a dressier watch to go out with the wife. But obviously with COVID, he got it not that long ago, and with COVID didn't get to really wear it all that much. Part of his question is whether you can get a great collection without Rolex. And the thing in his case is he doesn't really like Rolex all that much, but would actually not say no if he was offered a steel sports. I mean, he acknowledges the quality of the brand and the timeless character of the design, but at the same time, he's afraid it's a bit too ubiquitous. And for my case, I got in a bit earlier, so I got to buy a couple of watches at the 80s. I love my watches. I love the brand, but at times I wear them and I feel either very common here in Hong Kong, or I feel like a bit of a tool, to be honest with them, because yeah, it is the brand, by default almost now. To be honest, sometimes I feel like shining a fluted bezel under the nose of, say, a waiter in a restaurant is kind of calling for that waiter to spit in your food. I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, the collection right now I think has perfect symmetry. Two of each brands, great diversification of calibers with the manual wind 3 hertz moonwatch. You got the coaxial running a bit between 3 and 4 hertz with the Seamaster 300 meters. You got the automatic 4 hertz SBGR 311, and you have the perfect glide of the Snowflake. It's 3 solid classics, foundation pieces, and then the SBGR 311, which shows the personality of Stefan. And I like that. I think it's a great combo, and the colors are just beautiful, magical together on the picture. I think it's time to hit the brakes. Now, is there one to sell? I don't think so. So Stefan was saying that he doesn't really wear the Snowflake because he sees it more as a dress watch. But to be honest, a true dress watch, watch on a strap and in precious metal, is a bit of a pain. It's not something you can really wear easily if you're a guy who kind of enjoys a bit sportier type of watch. They're nice, but often more for collecting and wearing once in a while. And I can understand that sometimes in a collection like this, you want everything to be very usable. However, in the case of the Snowflake, I think it is extremely usable. It is made of titanium. It has coating on it to protect it. So it is very light. And it's not really a dress watch. Of course, the snow dial on steel can look a bit more delicate. It's not the alpha type of watch that the, pardon the pun, Omega Seamaster is, which is a very manly type of watch. The Snowflake looks a bit more delicate, but it is not actually. It has high resistance to shock, magnetic fields. I don't think you can even magnetize it, to be honest, due to the construction there of the spring drive. So I don't think you should be worried about it, but so keep it. Definitely, the resale is really bad on those watches, and I think you would miss it. I do miss my Snowflake more than any other watch, even if it had a couple of small flaws. The sensation that it gives you is so unique in the watch world. There are other spring drives, but the Snowflake brings it all together. It is a modern icon, and there's not that many modern icons. So maybe in 10 years you will get Patek Calatrava, for example. I don't think it's urgent. Keep that as your dressier type of watch. Now I feel, Stefan, that you work hard for your money and you understand the value of money because it wasn't given to you easily, and I can relate to that. So you don't want to go and waste your money in peripheral pieces, and your next move is important. Now your wife, according to your story, seems to take interest into your watches and to the next watch you're going to get. So why don't you get her a watch first if it's not done already? Maybe a nice Cartier tank or a Datejust. Don't be stingy. Give her a very good watch, because you don't need to buy her. It's not like guys, well, some girls love to have a collection, but many times the wife just wants to have one great one. So it's better to spend a bit more on that. Anyway, maybe you've done that already. Now, the watches that you are looking at, the Omega World Time Aquaterra. Yes, I just tried it on at the boutique. I tried it on the bracelet and on the strap. I think I like the strap a bit better, but the watch is huge in any case. So for me, just impossible. For you, I think it would be very suited to your wrist. It is really made for you, and there's just nothing else in the market that's anything quite like it, and it's a great complication to add to your collection. Color wise though, it doesn't really add anything great. Actually, it overlaps, and it's another Omega, so I don't discard that choice, but it is not cheap, and the boutique is not gonna do you any favors in terms of price. The resale is gonna be really, really bad. Already here in Hong Kong, the watch is in the window, so careful there. Here in Hong Kong, it is unsellable, for example, due to the size and the insulting choice of Beijing for the time zone instead of Hong Kong. So there's a good buzz on it, but I wouldn't buy into the buzz. Only get it if you really, really love it. Honestly, I would try to get it later on, maybe at a discount, perhaps. Now, the Snoopy Speedmaster, the new one. I know I should tell you that if you can get it, you should. But remember, you said yourself in your letter that you don't buy watches as investments or to resell. And this watch, why would you really need it if you already have a Moonwatch? And it's only an investment if you sell it, in case you buy it as an investment. Otherwise, it just weighs on you. You love it because you're told by the community of insecure Instagrammers that it's important. But is it really? When the next limited edition comes on, and it will happen, it will be half forgotten already. It does nothing to elevate your collection in a way that makes sense. It's just a nice cherry on top, but no substance. Buy it if you love it to death. But it's blue and basically the same watch as you already have, so really doesn't fit well, and it's not cheap either. Now the Zenith Chrono Sport, it's the flavor of the moment. I'm wearing it right now. Might be a slightly small for you perhaps. Be careful buying something just because it's really hot. It's a great chronograph, but you already have a chronograph. Color-wise doesn't really add anything. Possibly, but not necessarily where I would go. Then one of the watches that your wife approves of, the Heuer Monaco Steve McQueen. I don't know, do you really identify with the brand? It's true that the size is great, having a bigger watch, and the shape especially is great for you, something different in the collection, but it's very niche. So I would say buy it used if you really, really love it. Personally, I don't really identify or see what it brings to your collection in terms of complication there, but yeah, the different shape is interesting. Now you mentioned a Grand Seiko quartz, the SBGN 009 blue dial, if I'm correct, and your wife likes it, approves of it because she thinks it's provocative to have a quartz sign on the watch. I don't think it's really provocative. It just says you know little about good watches. Ooh, put the hate comments down there, you quartz lovers, and you already, most importantly, seriously now, you already have two good Grand Seikos, so why would you even consider this? It's nice, but it has not a great soul to it. And anyway, you told me that it's a bit too small for you, so totally forget about this one and make sure your wife doesn't buy it for your birthday, please. Now, let's try to make sense of this all. I think your 4 suggestions here are a bit too peripheral to me. Don't really reinforce the collection. So let's refocus. The first watch that I would add if I was you would be the Tudor GMT Pepsi. It's a bit larger at 41, 42 millimeters. The color it brings in the collection, the red there, is great. The complication, the GMT, is super usable, very desirable, and it mixes with everything in your collection just perfectly. Honestly, it's in the same price range, actually a bit less than some of the watches that you have. To me, it's a no-brainer for you. Wears amazing, very solid, and you can go on holiday with that one. That would be my choice for you there. A great alternative would be the Panerai PAM 998, for example, one of the Panerai GMTs. I like the 998 because it's got a green dial, it's a bit more special, and I know that Panerai is a bit out of flavor, out of fashion at the moment, but I think that would look quite smashing. I would prefer those two to the Omega World Timer, and I'm sure you can get right now a much better deal on the Panerai. That's just my opinion. My favorite choice would be the Pepsi GMT. Now, medium term, the Pepsi GMT, you said you're interested in Rolex, but not sure about the image. I think the Tudor, that's your perfect watch for you, because you get a taste of the Rolex look there with the overall look of the watch. The beveling on of the case, the overall case shape, the overall spirit of it, but it's not Rolex. Very good movement though, manufacturer movement. But medium term, what I would say, since you have the luck of having larger wrists, look into the Sky Dweller. Why not go two-tone? Champagne dial, you can get white dial, black dial. Champagne would be really cool. You'll be a bit older, and you can probably pull it off. And the size, again, is perfect for you. They're at 42 millimeters. Most people can't wear it. For me, it's really at the maximum. And here you would add an annual calendar, second time zone, beautiful watch with a gold bezel there. If you get the two-tone, you get the gold as well. On the bracelet, they have two options now with the Jubilee or the Oyster. I think the Jubilee could be quite cool as well. Very visual, a nice visual addition to your collection. And yeah, you would get finally the Rolex you wanted, the Rolex that not many people can pull off, and it won't cost you too much in terms of premium. Maybe you could get it even at the authorized dealer, much easier than the Pepsi. Obviously the Pepsi is great, if you want to, instead of buying the Tudor and the Sky Dweller, yeah, you could get a Pepsi, but the two together, quite a great mix. And when I say medium term, give it a couple of years. Now long term, the one I would see for you, again, because you can pull it off, is the Vacheron Constantin overseas chronograph. You come from at least you live in the land of fine watchmaking. I know you would respect the brand, the complication, the beauty of the watch. It's very sturdy, very beautifully made. It's resistant to magnetic fields. I think that would look perfect in your collection. And then at some point, give some of your watches to your kids and just keep the Sky Dweller, the VC, your favorite watch of the moment, the Omega Seamaster, and the watch that's a bit different from everybody else, the brown dial, beautiful Grand Seiko. And I think there you go. You have your path ahead of you, laid out, and you know what to do. Now, just to be thorough here, I want to give you a little shortcut to greatness. If you feel ready to take that step, if you're financially comfortable with it, why not go straight for the Vacheron, and why not get the blue dial dual time, which is fairly large watch, a bit too big for me. Otherwise I would have gone there a long time ago, and it just does everything. Maybe keep the moon watch as a chronograph, and you're pretty much all set for life, and it will save you a lot of back and forth between watches and brands. So guys, let me know what you think of the way forward there for our friend Stefan. I hope you like my choices. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure we'll be in touch again on email to discuss this video. And you guys watching, if you want me to give you an advice, review your collection, just discuss it with the community. Feel free to send me some pictures and an email as long as you need. All the details are welcome. It's great to know what you do in life, what you want to do with your collection, send me all that to opticwr@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.